I did give him a piece of popcorn the other day, and he just like did that like chomp, 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 and then.
But just to clarify, we should maybe revisit that. I didn't realize he was talking about vacuuming his mattress, not with his sheets on it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Churchcast, your weekly source for everything church and church accessories related.
I knew you were gonna do that, and it still scared me.
Hey guys, welcome back to the host show with your post-show host shows, Mikey and Joe. Nailed it. This week we wanted to talk a little bit about what it looks like maybe when we don't have our regular sermon that we have.
Maybe when Levi just decides to just go rogue and, just give us a little piece of something to go on for the week.
So, we wanted to talk about maybe some practical ways that maybe you don't make it in on Sunday morning. Maybe you, or even if you do make it in on Sunday morning, that shouldn't be your only source of time with God throughout the week. So we want to talk about some other practical ways, and for a lot of you guys, these are going to be really obvious, but we want to share some of our favorite ways that we get to connect with God throughout the week, and hopefully fill ourselves back up and be prepared to have those redemptive style friendships that we talk about so often around here.
Yeah.
So is there anything for you that you do on a regular basis that you connect through?
I think before I wanted to add one more point to, even if you do show up or you don't show up, but also maybe you just hear a sermon that just doesn't really sit well with you, and you're like, well, that didn't really do anything for me, or that's not really pushing me any further or allowing me to feel like I can go deeper in that.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I like to do is supplement my Sunday morning experience with other types of information throughout the week, like podcasts. That's something that I really like to do. I have a couple of podcasts, whether they just be churches that are, recording their sermons, or just other shows where there's conversations. One of my favorite ones is called Typology, which is about the Enneagram, which isn't a sermon, but it does help you just have more deeper, intentional thoughts and possibly conversations with others, which I think is really, really cool. And also conversations, it's a good way to have conversations with people who aren't Christians, because a lot of people are interested in personality tests and the Enneagram and all of that kind of stuff, which doesn't necessarily always have to start with a conversation about Jesus.
Yeah, and while you're on that, he's talking about supplements. Obviously we're walking into the spiritual GNC right now. We're picking up the protein powder of Christ,
the vitamin
which is
B.
Obviously podcasts, just beef you up. And to talk to that, I listen to more podcasts than seemingly humanly possible.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites is, I believe it's called Talk the Word with David Platt, and that's a good podcast. I got to hear him speak. Bob Goff has a really awesome, inspirational podcast.
I like that one.
Man, there's so many that I'm blanking on them right now. I'm not going to shout out any other churches, but I listen to a lot of other church podcasts throughout the week.
Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, not a bad thing. But go find them yourself. What else? What other than podcasts?
I think, especially living in Alaska, there's just so much nature and so much creation to participate in and to really worship the Lord in, and that He created all of this for us to enjoy and for us to experience. Yeah. And I think especially right now with all of the fall colors and just things changing from summer to fall, and how cool that is, and to know that the Lord planned that, and from the beginning of time, for us to be able to enjoy and to be able to experience, not just with Him, but with other people as well, and to be an easy way to introduce what we're calling about redemptive friendships, of being able to, just go out on a hike with someone and be like, isn't this really beautiful? Why do you think this is here? Just asking curious questions that are super easy, and a lot of times don't have to lead into something really deep and controversial or anything like that.
I mean, we see Jesus spent 40 days in the wild. Spending time in silence is important, right?
Yeah.
So I think we often think about, taking those hikes out with our friends and things like that, but I think it's equally as important, or can be even more so important, to just spend a little time out in nature by yourself in the quiet. Don't take the AirPods with you, keep it on mute for a little bit. Let God stir in the silence and move in your heart during those moments of silence. For me, a big one is reading. I love reading, and that's a good source of quiet time for me. And so I will pop over to Tidal Wave bookstore, pick up some used
Shout
Christian
out.
books. They have a good little Christian section over there.
Yeah, they do.
And so that's a good way that I like to refill throughout the week.
Yeah, I think that's great. What's one of your favorite, like if you were, let's say, you know, we're going to give a hypothetical. You have this redemptive friendship, and you're just trying to, you know, promote curiosity and be, you know, plant that seed. What's one thing you think you would do? What would be your first step?
You know, this may not be where you're pushing me towards, but I think board games are a really awesome way to get people to put the phones away for a little while, focus on one specific task, and just be in community for a little bit. I think it's really rare that we get those moments of like the phones are away and we're just hyper focused on one thing that's not like media driven or anything like that. It allows for like little side conversations and little things to happen, but also just like that feeling of community and the uniqueness that comes along with just spending time together, you know, working on something and having fun together.
Countercultural.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's a really great point to remind people that redemptive friendships don't have to be like, let's sit down and have a Bible study and have these really deep conversations, or how can I pray for you? You know, all of those things are really great, I think.
But those take time, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have to build on that. And I think showing them community and allowing them to be a part of that and something that's really fun and a little bit competitive, I think is a really cool thing to do. I love that idea.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to touch on before we get out of here?
No, I don't think so. I think we're still having community groups signups, and that's going to be kind of just rolling throughout the fall. So if you decide you want to be a part of something like that, please go to our website under the Connect tab and fill that out. We have lots of different options. We're about to be starting board game group, just as Mikey said, so that's super cool. And also a group that's focused on prayer and service, just praying for each other and figuring out ways to serve our neighbors and our community. So please go ahead and fill that out. We would love to have you.
Yeah, thanks for the shout out too. I'm going to encourage you to even consider signing up for multiple groups if you have that little bit of extra time. Willie and I would love to have you guys join our board game group, play some board games with us, but then also think about joining one of those prayer teams or one of those prayer groups or Bible studies there. You can go a little bit deeper. And with that, we will see you guys next week, if not sooner.
Yeah, bye.